Rocky 4.
Yeah, dude. It's bringing the
And the crowd is turning here.
Yeah.
They're sure to be going for Rocky.
See, this is what we do basketball.
Almost happened.
We did it.
Right.
Let's do a show with you guys.
What is everybody? Welcome to the DNVR show.
Let's go.
Let's go. Our only off day edition of the show this week because we have some big games coming up around the pike.
Statement week, right?
Statement week, where one kid is
Yes,
correct.
okay.
Yes, you got that
I
right.
think it starts tomorrow.
Statement week starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
No statements have been made so far, and it didn't start.
We were wrong about it starting.
Yeah, it's
yesterday.
statement business week.
I got to be honest with you guys. Today's show has some heavy topics, some heavy hitters.
Perfect.
Because we're obviously going to give some hangover takes. I got a chance to rewatch the game today.
You gonna go geopolitical or?
Yeah, well, we have to look at this. I'm going to monitor the situation together here. We're going to talk some hangover takes, and I have some things to share about that matchup that I think has actually evolved a little bit. That is interesting. But more to the point, I've been listening to the pods. I made the mistake, Harrison. I've been listening to the pods. Is Jokic still the best player in the world? Everybody is saying no. And I think it's the first time we have seen this shift. We're also going to predict their record from here on out. We're going to talk about some things we want to see here in the upcoming games. We got a full squad here. Harrison wins here.
Fellas, I'm hyped to be here. I mean, that is a great topic for the pods, I will say.
I mean,
the pods' ears lit up when SGA made that game winner last night because they had a perfect topic for their show.
It really is.
It's a great pods topic.
Great SEO. We didn't even use it on this one. I didn't want to go that direction. Over here, we got Brennan Vogt.
What an absolute treat to be here with you guys while we possibly get yelled at by the chat over what I think is a great topic. I'm really excited to break it down with you guys. I really am.
We will get yelled at the chat.
Yeah.
Someone who's always yelled at by the chat. D-Line Co.
They yell with love. We love you. We love you.
Never
That's
leave
what I
us.
meant.
What did you think I meant?
Oh, exactly that. I cut to the chase. He's still the best. Hey, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Coming up in the next segment here. No, let's get to hangover takes though, Kale, right off the bat because this was a big game. First take. It sucks when you're in the thick of battle, especially when you lose. Everything is like it sucks. That was a candidate for game of the year.
It was incredible. I know.
It was a candidate for game of the year, and I came up on the losing side of it, but it really was a fantastic basketball game. Forget what are the takeaways and what does it mean. If you just say like great shot making, big time performance, intense, felt meaningful, all that stuff, it really was an A+ game that had a deflating final 3 seconds.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I mean, the pods are still talking about that game. Everybody was watching, national TV as well on Peacock. Do we consider that national TV?
I don't know what to consider.
Is
anything,
that in the
to be honest.
NBA TV
It's
tier
national
of
app.
national TV?
I think it's more
app.
like the intranet of TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is pretty big though. Like the numbers have been big. Everybody seems to have. I don't
really
know.
trust
Maybe
it.
Amazon is the one everybody has.
No, that was the one that finally I was like, I can't get any more services. I can't.
So that
I
was
can't do it.
exclusively on Peacock. It was not on NBC.
It
I don't even
is
know.
on
I
NBC
don't
and
know.
also
And
Peacock.
also
But
Peacock?
if you have a service like, I don't know, Fubo, like, I don't know, me,
Yeah.
and they have a falling out with NBC, it also means they don't even put NBC on that anymore. You have to get Peacock to simply access any NBC programming.
I got bunny ears, which is awesome.
Little bunny ears.
Yeah, for the TV. For the TV.
Here's my first take for you guys, my first hangover take. We talk a lot about Peyton Watson's impact on this game as a primary defender for Shea. I think that's part of it. I think, first of all, with Shea, CB was handed a little bit of a tough hand in that I don't know that anybody can guard him one-on-one for the entire game. Your best bet is to throw multiple looks at him because every defender provides something different. And I think that's the first part of it is you're going at the same guy. You kind of get the same spots. Shea did shoot. I think it was one of his best shooting games ever when you consider what the expected outcome, given how close contests were, where the location and all that stuff. He just was really hot. So CB got fried. I do think it was a little bit of a tough spot, but my take was Peyton's impact in this game, I think, is partially for him guarding him, especially in clutch situations. But I think it's even more about you need speed and length to double him. I think Denver has to double Shea. They doubled him a lot last night and guys made shots. But I think you have to double him, but you have to have length to close out. And I actually wonder if that's the bigger impact for Peyton when he's back, is that it gives you another guy that's really good at closing out and containing.
I think so. And I think you have to sort of be brave enough to stick to that, because OKC's role players have moments. They have the dog in them. They will. Some guys who have low percentages will hit some high leverage shots.
I agree.
But I still think, much like OKC does to Jokic, you'd really rather make these guys who do sometimes absolutely miss their threes, you'd rather make them beat you and over and over and over again, I think. So it takes some discipline and commitment to that. But it is about the rotations and the contests behind it. And that is where Peyton Watson should help, if not also just a different on-ball look for SGA. Like you said, I think you hear coaches say all the time, the best look is multiple looks.
Yeah, and it's like, I even think it's Peyton maybe and Christian. I was just watching, I'm sure you've seen, there's a clip that's circulating of Russell Westbrook sort of like locking up SGA. Have you seen this?
I haven't seen it.
And it's like a lot of like, why did we let Russ go? And he was like incredibly active, was able to stay right in front of SGA. He couldn't get around him, forced him into a bad shot. But what happened was also that Christian Brown came over late as a weak side defender and helped to, complete that. And I think that Christian Brown proved beyond a shadow of a doubt he is not able to guard SGA one-on-one. It's there are worse crimes to be convicted of, but I do think he can be part of a platoon to help. It's just it was such a bummer, man. SGA just got around him immediately. Got on his hip right away every single time.
Yeah.
Got to his spot, and then Christian doesn't have enough of a wingspan, sadly, to make up for that by getting a good contest on the shot. All he can do is try and guard his eyes. He can't actually get to the ball.
And then he's so close that you're risking the foul.
And clearly, the way the SGA's brain works, it doesn't matter if he's seeing the basket at the moment. He can clearly shoot through not knowing where it is in that second. So it's completely ineffective. But he's still a good defender. It's just not in that setup. And so I think if you have Peyton and, maybe Christian takes his place of when Bruce comes in from time to time and he's guarding, the second tallest guy.
Well, let me give you the numbers though, because Denver did double a lot last night. They doubled on almost 24% of possessions. That's 22 touches for SGA. He gets doubled last night. The Thunder scored 2.07 points per possession, more than a bucket a time Denver doubled.
Right. So that's very good.
That's very good. It's actually the highest since 2023, game against Joel Embiid. I don't think it was Denver, somebody else. But here's the thing, man. They shot, they being the Thunder, shot 91.7 effective field goal percentage on potential assists from Shea. It was a career high.
I know, dude. I bet most of those went to Jay Will.
7 of them did.
For real, dude.
Seven of them
and then
did.
he knocked down threes, so it pushes up that points per.
But I don't think it's just this, though. Shea has a game of 13 assists against Denver this year and 15. I actually think this is something about the Thunder have solved what Denver did that gave them trouble last year in the playoffs. I think they figured out that Denver is going to double. What do? They've worked on that skill. And while they shot exceptionally well last night, historically well, in fact, it's the best game of the year in that specific category.
Of course it was.
But it still is something that I think OKC is deliberate about. And now they have 2 games where Shea has 28 combined, 28 combined assists.
And that's another reason why Peyton Watson in this matchup probably needs to play 45 minutes in the game.
Yeah.
I do think that this is a big minutes one for him.
Because
for sure.
if you're doubling him, that means other guys are open. You need Peyton Watson's speed and length to get out and contest those open shots that come off that double.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I also think last night too, and to your point, he's done this before. Funny thing is that was a different Thunder lineup last night too. And that was a lineup that can actually shoot the ball probably better than their starting lineup can in terms of the perimeter shooting. You have Jalen Williams, who obviously had a great night, but he can shoot, stretch the floor, and then Isaiah Joe in there. All the same.
And Kaysen Wallace didn't play very much, by the way, which is an adjustment from them. They went away from a defensive guy to say, you know what? I think we're going to score on them.
Do you know who was
they
out
got
there on the
AJ
last
in.
possession? The 5 that were out there for OKC.
Who was it?
SGA, Jalen Williams down low, AJ Mitchell,
Yes.
Jared McCain, and Isaiah Joe.
So just shooting. Just make it hard. Yeah.
But
just
yeah,
shooting.
the fact
they
that they got
have
AJ
now.
Mitchell is they just got him back.
What that alignment did, no Dort out there. He's obviously not a guy you guard. They don't have really many other guys that you don't guard. But I think it kind of Aaron Gordon was trying to come with the double and SGA went away from it, but it kind of made Denver's other defenders stay home.
100%. 100%. If you double, I mean, the whole point is, do you trust Shea to make a clutch shot? He's a great player.
And Spencer Jones actually played great defense on that shot.
Yeah, he's a little bit, I mean, he's in a tough spot.
He played amazing defense on that play.
I mean, he did get his hand up. That was a very close contest. I do think he put himself slightly out of position on it.
Initially,
and it made his recovery a little bit tougher because but if you actually look, well, hold on. What he's actually doing when he goes for that steal is a little bit he's going for the steal, but mostly he's trying to cut the court in half because they want to be able to bring the double over. So, but my point more is that I think that they looked at this and said, if we get doubled, we're vulnerable. That's what happened in the playoffs last year. Mm-hmm. And offense struggled. It became a defensive fight. Last night was the Thunder saying, I think we can beat them offensively. And to me, it's meaningful because Denver feels like they can score on everybody. OKC's hard to score on, but we can still do it. But I think this was OKC saying we should feel confident that if this gets into a shootout, we know how they guard us. Shea will score on them in a single coverage, and if we double, we're going to score on them in double coverage, and that is a different dynamic than what we saw last year.
Well, I agree, but it's also like they beat us by 50 points in one. I don't think they're that uncertain in their offense against us. They just get up for it. Like the Nuggets just have. There's like a psychological thing happening with OKC that was similar to Minnesota. It's like right there, man. Like that's 2 games in a row that are just right goddamn there, and if they win one of those or both, it's just like the feeling that we have.
It shifts completely.
Yeah. And both of them were literally one shot. Cam Johnson misses his, SGA hits his. And that's the difference between 2 games.
One thing that felt better last night is it felt like you were getting good process through Jokic.
Yes.
In a way that, now granted, OKC had that different lineup out there, right? So they were less, I think, well suited to guard him the way they typically do. But it does feel like, to the point you're just making, when OKC gets a bucket, it feels formulaic. It feels like they have a process solution.
Much easier.
To what Denver's presenting them. Whereas oftentimes Denver's buckets in this matchup feel like found buckets out of talent or something. You know what I mean? And so it was exciting. It was encouraging to see them kind of Jokic look like Jokic against that team. But then also you have to step back and remember that it was a different version of that team.
Yeah. There was like that middle portion of that game that was the Nuggets every single time down. You're like, what are you doing? Like terrible shot, trying to back Jamal like a 360. You're like, nothing's happening. They're not moving the ball. And then in the late stages, it's like Jokic became godlike again. Like that was the most. That's why I think I feel like I don't even feel sad about yesterday. Like went completely out of my head versus that Knicks game. It's like I just saw Jokic turn into Jokic again, and behind that, I feel confident against anyone.
I think it's fair to the other side though for them to say they're missing 4 rotation pieces, not just we're missing some guys.
No, I understand that, but you get 32 points out of one of the guys. Like would Chet have scored 32?
But they probably would have made life a lot harder on Jokic. Jokic also dominated.
So they may have just won a different
and you
way.
can even look at that and say Tim Hardaway was 8 of 12. Tim Hardaway was on fire. He hit some shots that on rewatch, they were very important shots.
Yeah.
Huge.
And they were shots that he's not going to shoot the percentage he shot last night. There was like he was a little hot and it was great. So there's some regression on both sides. I'm more talking about stylistically though, because that's what's more important to me. And here's the last piece of this. Shea really is an improved player. I thought last year he was improving and he was great, but I think last year I would characterize the Thunder as the best defense in the NBA by a country mile. And they had a player that was one of the best players in the world, and he was really capable of making things difficult on you. I think that now that balance might be a little shifted. Shea makes their offense so unbelievably simple. Unlike Denver, who has to run, pick and roll and dribble handoff, it requires movement. You really can just say everybody flatten out.
Yeah.
Shea's just going to create an advantage, and now everybody's in rotation, and he's so efficient at it that's effective. But the thing that breaks it, that really has changed for him, is he now has multiple clutch step back 3-pointers, not just 3-pointers.
3.
So all game he gets to his spot, but at the end of the game, he is now a really good step back 3-point shooter. And to your point, if you get into a situation where you can call a timeout and get the last shot, you're going to put shooters all around. Yeah. You're going to say it's going to be really compromised to double. And now you have to not only guard a guy that's hard before he's taking threes, but you also feel like he is comfortable getting to that spot for a 3. I think they were saying it's something like he has 6 threes in the game like clutch threes in the final minute or something
Dude,
this year.
We have 6 clutch threes all year.
He's been the best clutch scorer all year.
Yeah, he had multiple of these.
To your point, and what is, I think, among the more concerning kind of revelations from last night, OKC does seem more versatile this season. It seems like they have more different ways that they can challenge or beat you, or different lineups they can go. I don't think they had that shooting card in their back pocket last season the way they do right now. They had guys hit huge shots, Caruso and Dort, and outshoot their percentages. But now it feels like, they have that lineup even that they can just go to. So they have these different looks that make things challenging for Denver. And Denver kind of does have to play A+ basketball to beat these guys.
For sure.
100%. I think they're just a more versatile team in this or that. But I still think all of the positives from last night remain the same. Aaron Gordon's on a minute restriction. The minutes they played with lineups that I think are going to matter most were actually very successful and still puts a lot of pressure. Last year, I think, other than the 2 games Denver got blown out, that was a defensive battle where Denver was like, it was a grind. I think this year's playoffs might be a little bit more offensive minded, because both teams are a little bit more comfortable now with what they need to do offensively, but they are up for that task as well. But Shea had one of the best games of the year last year, and so the pods today are all talking about that he is now definitively the best player in the world. I'm not saying that we will agree with it. We'll talk about it on the other side, but I do think yesterday marked the turning point to where the consensus is now that Jokic is not the best player in the world for the first time in, I don't know, at least 4 years. We'll talk about that on the other side.
Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. Trucks have always been part of their DNA for generations. Toyota has built durable legends destined for greatness and perfect for Colorado. Whether you're conquering the off-road trails or hauling the weight of the world, there's a Toyota truck that's just right for you. Check out the all-new Tacoma. Check out the iconic Land Cruiser. Toyota's got 17 models with available all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive like the Epic 4Runner. They've also got more low and zero emission vehicles combined than any other automaker, giving customers numerous choices to reduce their carbon footprint. 16 different hybrids to choose from. They've also got SUVs like the RAV4, the Grand Highlander. So many awesome options at Toyota. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mount States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson, Toyota East in Aurora, Stevenson, Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Denver Nuggets. It's the official vehicle of DNVR. They've got the RAV4, the Grand Highlander, the Tacoma, the Land Cruiser. So many different options from Toyota. Make sure to check them out today. Also, make sure to check out Red Hawk Roofing if you have any roofing needs, home business, whatever it is. They're the best in the business. They're your guys. If you have a roofing project, big or small, redhawkroofing.com. They're the absolute best. There's no project too small for these guys. They're your go-to for everything from minor repairs to full roof replacements on your home or business. Quality materials, decades of experience, quick response time. They are Colorado's best estimators and contractors. So give them a call. If you think you need work done on your roof, if you think you definitely need roof or work done on your roof, 720-771-8921, redhawkroofing.com. And of course, tell them DNVR sent you. These are our guys. They're rooting for our Denver sports teams. They're in the bar. They're on the takeovers. They're up all arena. So give these guys your business. Redhawkroofing.com, 720-771-8921.
Guys, stop talking about that.
All right, back here, segment 2. Make sure you throw us a like button. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of our shows here. So the conversation last night, Jason Timpf had it. Andy Bailey, along Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic,
We've lost Andy.
champion, has said he thinks that this is now a turning point, marks a turning point.
What if Andy only follows who he thinks is the best player in the world? Have we lost Andy?
I'm telling you, that's kind of how it goes. Like a lot of people just follow the best guy. I think that if we rewind the clock back to 2021, Giannis wins a championship, Jokic wins an MVP. And it's like, okay, who's the best player in the world? We all believe it was Jokic, but Giannis is coming off a championship, and there's something to winning. Jokic's a second championship in 2022, or a second MVP in 2022, and we plant our flag. You know, it's Jokic. He's done it, and even then, Jokic hadn't won anything other than the individual award. But it's like, okay, we have this 2023. Jokic wins the championship, and it's like definitive. This is year 2 now, or year 2, or maybe year 3, where Jokic is the best player in the world. 2024 letdown, but MVP. We're dominant. 2025, Jokic still the best player. Shea won last year. He has the championship. He also has the MVP. If we just reverse roles, Jokic, if this happened in 2022 where Jokic won MVP and the finals and people were saying Giannis was the best player in the world because of whatever reasons, we would be indignant. I think Shea having a championship and an MVP and playing at another MVP level, to me, I look at it and I go, I still think Jokic's the best player in the world. That's my guy, and I believe it. I think he can do more. He's more dominant. His ceiling is higher than anyone's. But I also have to step back and say, I think it's fair to look at and say the accolades, we would be pissed if we were if the shoe was on the other foot.
Oh, we'd be pissed. We'd be like leading a revolt.
Yeah.
Righteous indignation.
Can you imagine if we were on the other side of it?
What do you mean? Can you imagine? We're just on the other side of it a lot. You know exactly what it fucking feels like.
Yeah. Now I'm with you. He has every right to claim that title right now. Absolutely. Just because what he did last year, the MVP, the championship, coming back and pretty much doing a repeat of that so far. It seems like he's definitely going to win MVP. I'd be kind of shocked if he didn't, unless he just sat out games. Yeah. And they are the clear favorite for another championship. So he definitely is. He definitely could have that title. I'm with you. I still think it's Nikola Jokic, but I'm not upset at him for having that title right now. But there is still a chance it can flip based on what happens in these playoffs.
There's no question.
100%. Yeah. But this is, like, if you just talk about the perspective, not what we believe, but how
the podspective,
how dialogue around this stuff works, it becomes objective at a certain point. If he goes MVP, Finals MVP, MVP, Finals MVP, that's a chain snatching. That, now we may have our own perspectives on, Jokic is playing against a historically elite defense. SGA is not, all that. I'm not going to sit here and dunk on the Nuggets to prop Jokic up, but that is part of the dynamic. But the reality is, in terms of how he's talked about and the sort of the resume, the facts of the matter, is that SGA is doing this now. He is making this kind of an ascension. And if he backs last year up with the same results this year, that's what it takes to dethrone people. So right now, it's not that I think SGA is the unanimous best player in the world. It's that Jokic is no longer the consensus unanimous best player in the world, which he held on to for a really long time.
And even last year, Eric, Jokic was so good in that playoffs, even though they put through this great defense and he struggled early on, I think everybody walked away from that going, yes, the Thunder won, but Jokic and Denver recused themselves well enough with a flawed roster that I don't think there was any changing of the guard. But I do think that Shea has been very clutch this year. Mm-hmm. He's added to his game. And I think there's something too. This is a year and a half of excellence and winning.
Definitely.
So there's
no, there are things about Shea's game that are unassailable. You can't pick any holes in it. His scoring is unbelievable. His control is unbelievable. He's a good defender. Jokic to me is just the most. He affects the game more heavily than any player I've ever seen in every aspect. He's the absolute center of the universe as far as the Nuggets are concerned. Not that Shea isn't, but not to the same degree. It doesn't mean it's his fault. But it's like these conversations.
15 assists was his career high.
These kinds of conversations are like what then later on lead to the what do you mean MJ only had 3 MVPs? What do you mean? It's like there's the truth, which will echo throughout history as Jokic being one of the greatest players to ever play. And they'll be like, why didn't he win those years? And it's like, oh, because Steve Nash did, because SGA did. It's like, whatever. It's like, I don't believe that SGA will be remembered in the same regard that Nikola Jokic will be, because he is just truly so wholly unique. And Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is like another in line of like the Kobe line, this line, that like another one of these guys, Dwayne Wade, like guys that are, you've seen his type a lot. He's incredible at it, but it's like Jokic is a genre bending, defining, breaking player that people won't be able to understand later on. Like, what do you mean this especially when you see him, picture of him, you're like, this guy was good. Like, what are you talking about?
That's the biggest reason why.
But that's my point. And then like, it will be later on, like, how did this like freak of nature only win 3 MVPs? He was clearly the best player now that we look back for that whole decade.
Right.
But in the moment, it's like, of course you can't. It's in the
but
moment.
But MVP is different than best player in the world.
That's my point, is that like I believe that Shea will win MVP because of the reasons that vote outlined. It becomes objective at a certain point, because you can't just have like, I feel like answers every time. You have to be like, he won this, he had this, da-da. And his accolades will give him MVP, but he's not the best player in the world.
But why? Well, first of all, why does their offense work? Why does Oklahoma City's offense work?
Because everyone is good. And you can have
he
your
touches
third
the ball on every possession.
Yeah, but you can have your third string center score 32 points to win a game that you desperately want. And like you can have AJ Mitchell come off the bench. And it's like, what the hell? Are you out of your mind? Isaiah Joe hit every big shot. It's like all these guys, like if Denver would get that kind of production out of Christian Brown and Cam Johnson last night, they would have blown the doors off these guys. Yeah. You know, it's like I'm not saying SGA is not all world incredible. I'm just saying, like, to the bigger picture, is he better? Is he a better basketball player than Jokic? No.
But the way people outside of us and how our perspective on this will talk about it is absolutely going to change as they continue to have success. And right now, like at one point, you know, in this matchup, they were like 7-5 going back to the start of last season. OKC with the advantage. OKC is pulling away right now, and SGA has some head-to-head moments of excellence. Again, I'm not saying that's definitive proof, but that is absolutely going to influence the dialogue. And I think we honestly started to see some of it last night already.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough, man. I like Eric's argument that, you know, in 30 years from now, I just feel like they might be remembered a little differently. You know, Jokic will be remembered as, I think, this Wilt Chamberlain-like figure that almost seems make-believe. And you're like, he didn't really go for 30, 20, 20, right?
Every game?
He didn't actually do that. No, he did. But even though there's no video of it, he did. And I think, you know, SGA will be remembered a little differently, you know, for a lot of different reasons.
Depends on how many they win.
And that's the point. Because they have gamed the system in this second apron era potentially to a point where they could reel off a bunch of championships, and that changes things.
Definitely.
I think there's something, though, healthy about, like, everything feels linear, and it might play out that way, that, okay, the consensus shifts now that, you know, Shea's there. Wemby's coming up. I mean, Wemby right now, I think it's all about this playoffs because he is playing at a level right now that is dominant to be in this conversation for best player in the world. And I just think that it's been Jokic and Embiid, but I always felt that one was fake. That one to me is the one that is, I look at that one the way you're talking about, Eric, where I'm just like, they're not comparable. Stop this. I know that he scores and he does this stuff, but it's not comparable. I think with Shea, the winning does matter, and their entire team identity is centered on him. Their offense goes through him on every possession. You don't even need to run an offense. You just need to space the floor, and he's going to generate elite looks every single time, whether it's for himself or for somebody else. That is a very valuable offensive player, and the fact that he is a big contributor to the best defense in the NBA, to me, I just think it's a fair thing. But what I'm more interested in now is, okay, if that is consensus and things are turning, is that the final? Like we think about when there's a changing of the guards, it's a baton pass, there's that. Or is it a contention? And I think the one for me that's interesting here, Kobe and LeBron, I think LeBron in like 2008, 2009 became the best player in the world. And then Kobe won 2 titles. And I think LeBron, you still said, well, he's the better player. But it was like, yeah, but I don't know. There was still enough argument to be had about where things go. And then LeBron had a horrible 2011. There was arguments here or there. And then LeBron for sure took over, you know, in that time after that. I just wonder if this is less of a changing of the guards and more of a healthy challenging to the throne.
Right.
Which I think is, to me, is actually exciting and adds a unique rivalry because Jokic is not vocal about this. But I think that would bother him. The idea of like, they're saying it's over. Like the baton has been passed and now I'm the second or third best player. And I think that Jokic has to feel this in a way that I think will be motivating and also exciting and create drama for that series.
They had an absolute, like an epic, legendary fight last night in the clutch.
It really was such a good game.
That's what I mean. Like you can't say like one guy knocked the other guy out. Like you can't, like they won the game, but you can't be like, I mean, I understand the pods are excited about the fact that the OKC won. So, but it's just, if you really take a look at what those two guys did in the biggest moments and like what valuable means, and you know, best player in the world, all those kinds of arguments when when it's like the rubber hit the road, you look at both those guys, you're like, I don't know who I'd rather have in that moment. I really don't like, but I just feel like Jokic is just so impactful. And I understand the counter could be the defensive impact that Shea gives, but I think that we all kind of share the opinion that Jokic is not the defender that people make him out to be during the regular
Well,
season.
I think Jokic has more offensive things. I mean, he also rebounds. He puts pressure on the paint. Like, there's things on offense that Shea can't do that Jokic does. So they're apples and oranges. I will say I don't think last year. I think people went into the series hoping it would be a Jokic versus Shea thing, and I just don't think it played out that way. It was OKC was really good, and Denver had to overcome it. I think this year will be though. I think this year, I'm not saying that's what the matchup comes down to, but I do think this year, if they match up, it will be a referendum on that very question.
Well, the Nuggets don't have any excuses that they had last year.
Yeah.
Last year, they had a lot of excuses that were true. Like they had a lot of valid reasons why they lost that series. They had no depth. They had no shooting. They lost Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr., to injuries, who then came back in that series. So I think there were a lot of reasons that you can point to with a lot of validity about, why the series went that way. This year, they don't have the excuse.
The shot that was ridiculous from last night, though? It's like with 2 minutes left when Christian had the perfect defense and Shea banked it off from the elbow.
Yeah.
A straight on shot.
Go in.
I know that's what kind of night he was having last night. I mean, he was hitting tough shots. He's great at it, but he also had a few that you're like, damn, man, even
when
that
I
one's
close
falling.
my eyes, I could see Jay Will knocking down another three.
Yeah,
where
guys
our
on fire.
3-point shooters can't hit one.
Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I mean, like I said, we all think Jokic. I mean, to me, I still have never seen a player, not just currently, but ever, who has had the impact Jokic has on the game. But this idea that it doesn't matter what we think, the consensus outside of Denver and outside of Oklahoma City, because obviously they're going to think their guy, the consensus shifts. It is a bit of a change. We just have not existed here for 5 years.
Yeah.
It's the first time where it feels like the consensus is against it, and that's a little bit different. On the other side, we're going to look at every one of the last 17 games to try to tell you how many the Nuggets are going to win. We'll do that on the other side.
Surfshark develops humanized privacy and security solutions to safeguard your data and privacy online. It allows you to virtually travel the world, browse privately by encrypting your internet activity, blocking ads and malware that get into your way, and much more. Using a VPN, it's really simple. It's like wearing pants. All the important stuff stays private and secure when you step outside. A VPN covers your whole online activity. Once your device connects to the internet, all the information is encrypted, pretty much blurred out in a way. That way, your online activity is hidden from all snoopers and trackers. This can benefit the whole household. Connected and secure, there's no need to count the devices with Surfshark. You can set up one account, use it on unlimited devices. Also, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee with Surfshark. Take your time and try out the service and experience the whole Surfshark VPN potential at your disposal. Go to surfshark.com/DNVR Nuggets. You can hit that QR code right there on the screen as well. Surfshark.com/DNVR Nuggets. Use that show code at checkout to get 4 extra months and a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee of the Surfshark VPN. Also, shout out to Shopify. Maybe you got that side hustle that you want to turn into a big business this year. Maybe you just want to take your business to the next level. Shopify can grow with your business. It can grow with you as you grow and you make more money and expand. Maybe 2026 is that year for you. Start your business with Shopify and become who you're meant to be. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. Shopify gives you all the tools you need to easily build your dream store. You can choose from hundreds of beautiful templates that you can customize to match your brand. They pretty much make it really easy to set up your online shop. In 2026, stop waiting, start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial. Start selling today at shopify.com/allcity. Go to shopify.com/allcity for your $1 per month trial. Hear your first with this new year with Shopify by your side.
All right, back here, segment 3. I think this segment, if that last one got you down a little, this one's going to pick you up. We're going to look at the schedule from here on out and try to predict what the Nuggets are going to go. And I actually think it's always darkest before the dawn.
Okay.
I think we're like an hour before dawn. So we have a little bit of darkness here coming.
Not yet. But
I've also noticed, I've said this recently, like it's actually darkest when you're dead.
Well,
hard to argue.
That's when it's darkest.
Yeah. theoretically, definitely true.
Not as flowery of a metaphor. Let's look at this here. I have told you right now, and we're going to walk through this. I think the Nuggets have. I was joking earlier. It's like Groundhog Day. Groundhog comes out and says 3 more games of winter. I think there's 3 more games before the thing fully turns around.
I wrote in my last piece when Jamal got hurt. I wrote it feels like Groundhog Day in this locker room. 4 to 6 more weeks of winter.
Oh, that's a banger.
Then he was back the next game. So
you know what? There we go. Let's go to the. You can pull it up, Kel, if you have it. But the upcoming game is home against the Houston Rockets. The Nuggets do have rest, obviously, going into that one. I think this one is a win, but I will say that Peyton Watson is very important for this matchup. It might be his most important individual matchup.
I agree, KD.
And I don't know who guards Kevin Durant. And when Kevin Durant doesn't see his defender, he goes like Shea, where he just scores every time.
Peyton might be the best Kevin Durant defender in the NBA.
He really might be.
Honestly, might be.
Zeke is actually not bad on Kevin Durant.
We're going to get to Zeke in the last segment because I have a hot Zeke take, a spicy Zeke take.
For a hot freaky Zeke take?
I got a hot freaky Zeke take.
I hated that.
What the hell?
I'll say this.
Don't do that again.
I think that Houston is like, they're not coalesced at all. You know, this is a team that has not like used their 60 games to come together. And shocker.
Yeah, chemistry kind of fading a little bit.
They are less than the sum of their parts, and their parts are very flawed. They don't have ball handling. Denver needs to win this game. I actually think this is a very important game for Denver, and I think they'll take it seriously. I think this one's a win.
Yeah, I'll say a win as well. I mean, I feel way more confident looking at this Rockets game than I do against that Spurs game on the
Less than
back-to-back
24 hours
later.
later. Yeah.
So I think the Spurs game, which is the following night, Thursday,
Just punt it.
at San Antonio, I think that might literally be the darkest hour because I think Denver's
Just
going to lose.
don't even go.
I think Denver's
Forfeit.
going to lose by 30 points.
Yeah, forfeit.
They blitz you. They have a lot of problems to solve, and if you have no time to scout them or like put a game plan together, I think Denver's going to go hard on game plans versus Houston. I just think that game in San Antonio, Nuggets are saying fans are saying not true contenders. You can't lose by 35 points to a team you're going to see in the second round, not even in the same category.
Yeah, totally. And in that moment, that will have merit.
In that
Honestly,
moment.
it will. I'm with you though. I do like them in the Rockets spot. I really do. This seems like a team that they also played great games against this year, but they're that sweet spot, I think, of competitive enough that it's going to help inspire Denver to really bring some of their best basketball. Unfortunate, it has to be framed that way. But then also not quite the Thunder, where I think the Nuggets can maybe play A- and still get that win they need.
So I've been predicting March 14th is the darkest hour, and that is at Los Angeles. It is on a Saturday, so you have Friday night in LA. You have a Saturday night game versus the Lakers. Nice. I think there's a good chance Peyton Watson is back for this game. My prediction is he'll be back.
He's circling that game?
Probably he's from LA. I think there's
Maybe
a good chance
is.
that he's back either that game or the Philadelphia game. So I think one of those two games he will be back. I think this is the pivot game because I think it'll be more or less 50-50. Denver will be a little tired. I mean, that they're going that 3-4. You get a day off, and then you're playing the Lakers. That one to me is a coin flip. I don't know. What do you think, D-Line?
I like the Nuggets in every matchup that they have going down the stretch. I really do, man.
So you see 3-0 here.
I don't know that I see 3-0, but I see competitive basketball in all of them. I do think they'll beat the Rockets. I think they have more to offer. Reed Shepherd, who somehow was the one that killed them last time. You can put like Christian on it. We just have more defenders.
Yeah, he'll lock him down.
I do believe he can lock down Reed Shepherd.
Yeah, way better matchup than SK.
Yes,
for
Bruce
sure.
Brown. Like I think that, and I agree. Like I think the Rockets are super dysfunctional. They've been dysfunctional all year. They just didn't want to admit it to themselves. And the Spurs, I'm very interested to see. I'm very, very interested to see because I still think that you can ball up Wemby and put him in a locker if you really want to. And I don't think like teams have
Less
been
so as the time goes by, though. He's starting to bully people himself.
If the more he does that, the less. But I still think that you can do it. Like we'll see what happens. But I at least see the Nuggets being competitive. I don't know if they win because that is a little bit of a tall task in many respects. But I do not fear the Lakers.
Do you play Jamal at San Antonio in third game in 5 nights when he has this ankle
No,
injury?
don't play anybody.
Do you play
against the
Aaron
Spurs.
Gordon
Don't
coming
play
back
anybody.
from injury? Like
Nobody.
this is why that game. I'm
Could-
pissed because
they
I
could
want to
punt on-
see
they
that
could
game
punt on
so
it.
bad.
I mean, if they punt on it, then yeah, sure, 30-point losses in play.
Poetically, another chance to punt on the Spurs game or not, or just really go for it and then lose it anyway.
The Lakers one should be a win. The Lakers are a bad team. They are a bad team that I think is realizing it more and more after every game they play.
Their profile does look a lot like Denver's.
Yeah, it looks
but
identical.
I would obviously
Without the injuries for the
Yes,
entire season.
and that does matter. Like, this is one of the that does matter. Absolutely, yeah.
They have missed Austin Reeves for quite a bit, and he really helped. I mean, so there's something there. But I think that one, and then you go to Philadelphia, which I think they should win at home. Philly is a team right now who you never know who's going to play.
Dude, Max is out.
There's a different team every night.
Yeah,
But I think you should win that one.
He
So
might be
I'm
back
looking
for
at
that
this
one,
and
though.
going over that stretch. I see 2-2, and I think it's a disaster if they go 1-3, but it's not out of the question. But I see 2-2 or 3-1 in this stretch, one way or another. Let's
I'd
go
take 2-2
Let's
right
go
now.
2-2 right now, because after that is where things pick up. You go at Memphis. They are tanking. It is the second night of a back-to-back, but you're talking about a tanking team. You have to win that game. It sucks that it got added to the schedule. This is that game that got canceled earlier for weather,
Oh yeah, the snowstorm.
the snowstorm. So it kind of it adds a back-to-back to Denver, which sucks.
Sick. That's awesome.
Why not?
Yeah.
But then you come home for a couple games and you've got Toronto at home. This to me is an inflection point game, but I think Denver looks phenomenal in this game. I think at this point, Peyton's been back, Aaron Gordon's been back, Cam's been back. I think Toronto's a tough matchup, good team, but I think this is the game where it's like, there it is. The Nuggets look like a real team. They win comfortably.
Okay.
You get a night off, you play Portland.
Yep.
I think they blow Portland out. I think
we go Denver's way.
I think we're starting to break into the period that we like here. You go at Phoenix. All three of these teams are perfect because they're good, but not great.
Right.
Earmuffs, Kale, earmuffs.
We
Oh,
can't
yeah.
play the best teams.
Yeah.
Right.
But we also can't play the worst teams because we know we played down to that competition. So this is the perfect sweet spot.
I think Phoenix is a win. I think they win that game. You come home and it's Dallas, which
they
just sucks
need
that
to
Denver
win.
always plays on the second night of a back-to-back traveling to Denver, so they're actually at a rest disadvantage at home. But Dallas sucks and they're tanking. I think that's another win. Utah.
Tough game.
Utah at home. They're tanking. That's a win. You get
Are
gold.
you sure?
God.
It's in Denver.
It's
This
in
one's
Denver.
This
Are
one's
you
in-
sure?
The later we get into the season, the more sure I am, to be honest
What's
with
that
you.
kid, what was that guy's name? I can't forget. On Utah that went ballistic against us?
Deontay George?
Yes.
Good player.
I mean, he's
Deontay
really
George.
He went crazy and guarded Jokic.
Resident negative chatter Aki Dragon says, yes, Denver has looked great at home all season. Obviously a good point on the surface level, but this is actually an important part of the
Yes.
schedule.
Yep.
Denver has had a lot of these in at home and out the next day home stands. And look, there's a lot of stuff you can dismiss as excuses or orange slices. This matters. And I think they're going to get more actual time at home against worse teams. So I do think you might start to see Ball Arena advantage creep its way back in.
You can disagree with this, but I this is how I feel it's going to go. So you get Utah, then you get Golden State at home. You get rest again. That's a revenge spot. I think Denver wins that game as well, and I think they win it comfortably. I think they take that one seriously. You go on the road at Utah. Utah, I'm telling you, at that point in the season, cannot win. They are going to have to lose. That's the point where tanking really happens. That's a win. You come home for Saturday, April 4th. You get 3 days finally. Instead of a back-to-back, you get 3 days leading into that San Antonio game. That one to me is like
Put up or shut up time.
Practice twice.
it's their last real test, if you ask me.
It's going to be their last real test.
It's their last real
Last
test.
real game.
And San Antonio, I think, is going to be feeling themselves. There's a good chance that they're gunning for a 1 seed or can clinch up the 2 seed, like just clinch it in that game. I think that's a big boy test. I'm going to say Denver wins that one because I think they're going to treat it as such. But that one to me will be
we
an
love a
inflection point.
1:00 game. That
Yeah,
plays
that's
into
unfortunate.
our hand as well.
But they do have
damn
time.
it.
They do have time for like.
didn't check the time.
I feel like some of their best.
Oops.
This is a really strong counter. This is a really strong counter, Harrison. I do think some of their best performances, though, have had when like they've actually had a little bit of time to practice and game plan. So maybe that happens again here.
You get a day off, and then you play Portland. This is late in the year. I think that is a win. Late in the year, you get the tanking Memphis team. That is a win. Last game at home of the year is against Oklahoma City, who almost certainly will have nothing to play for. There's a chance they do, but I'm going to call that a win in large part because I think Oklahoma City will be ready for the playoffs.
Probably
and
without
not showing
3
anything.
starters and
your last
four
game-
players.
Well,
Yeah, probably rest most of there.
I think it's a win. And then you go at San Antonio, which there's a really good chance San Antonio has nothing to play
Absolutely.
for. Why would you play your guys there, especially Wemby? And I think that is a win. I'm not saying they will win all these games, but I look at 2-2 over this next group, and I just look at every game after that and say, I think Denver wins it.
Where do you think that will leave them? 4 seed? Is that maybe the
That
safe?
might be the 3 seed if you do what I just said. I mean,
Right.
that is
They're only a
15
game and a half
and
back.
2
Yeah.
down the stretch. Now, if you ask me, I'm going to say they probably go more like 13 and 4 or maybe even 12 and 5. I think that would probably be more par. But if you're just saying like what games is Denver favored in, they're going to be favored in probably all but 2 or 3 games.
Yeah. Well, I was hanging out in the Discord earlier today, chatting with some diehards. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for everybody who was chatting. But I predicted 12-5 over the next 17 games. And a big reason for that is because the very end of the schedule is so soft. You know, you close with OKC and San Antonio the last 2 games. There's no way either of those teams are playing for something at that point. I think the seeding's going to be locked in. You have Memphis the game before that. That's also a gimme game. This schedule has been absolutely brutal. It's still brutal for the next week or so, but it does lighten up. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and specifically at the end of the year. You know, they still have Utah 2 more games. And I was joking earlier about how it could be a tough game because they just almost lost to Utah. But I mean, those are 2 games they should definitely win. They have Memphis 2 more times. They have all these tanking teams here. And it is scary because they've played down to competition so many times, but you still take that, you know, every single day of the week over a better opponent.
Yeah, I mean, and you're a game and a half behind the Wolves you would have the tiebreaker over the Wolves. You've got a chance to, I think, secure the tiebreaker over the Rockets and the Lakers with these wins. If they, I don't know where those season matchups are at, but I would think you're securing the tiebreaker if you win those games. Then yeah, the 3 seed is still in play. So there is a chance for. The thing is, there have been some exclamation points of success this season. They have been so choppy. They have like kind of bookended long stretches of mediocrity or frustration. It would be really nice if there's just a couple of weeks of momentum, even if it is against worse teams, just to feel like things are headed in the right direction.
Yeah, I think you're describing in very articulate, long-form terms. Vibes, dude. We need vibes. And wins, you can bring vibes. The vibes come back. Everyone feels it. They're feeling it. We're feeling it. I can foresee the 15-2. Why not? Like, I just saw Denver. I just really think we're going to get the trampoline liftoff that we have been waiting for. And I'm so encouraged by what I saw last night, even though they weren't able to pull it off. They fought so valiantly, and a lot of big guys made really big time plays. And I really do believe that Peyton Watson will be a big re-addition to the squad, especially with that second unit, which was the reason that they lost that game last night. The second unit just bleeding points in that second quarter, going down, losing the quarter by 9 points.
And not even just the second unit, is also the stagger.
Yeah.
If you remember, Denver kind of fell apart at the end of the first.
I agree, but I believe
he helps that too.
He helps that. Like, it's just the point being, like, outside of the starters, which we know is good enough. That's never been the question. It will never be the question.
They won their minutes again last night.
Yep. They always win their minutes. They are the best group in the league, and that's with Cam, who's been deeply ineffective. And like, if he can step up and then you find some juice in that second unit or just the stagger, it's like, why not, man? Like, why? There's no reason somebody can talk me out of these Denver Nuggets right now.
I think if Denver loses 2 of the next 4, the fan base will be in a panic, and rightfully so. And if they win the rest of the games or most of those games down the stretch, even if you just go like 11-1 in those games, I think it'll be the perfect scenario in that Denver will have won up against a bunch of mediocre teams, but not have any great wins under their belt. Maybe 1 or 2 wins under their belt.
I've got 3 good ones, I think.
I'm just saying in the home stretch here.
Yeah,
I'm saying like Denver hasn't exactly inspired confidence where it's like, well, we're going to beat San Antonio or OKC. Totally. And I think it'll be a perfect spot where Denver is like they're the hottest team in basketball. It's the best stretch of the year. But have they beat anyone? Not really. But they haven't lost to anyone either. And it'll be perfect for you to see exactly what you want to see. And if Denver can get into that rhythm, I do think that they can be a 3 seed at worst a 4 seed. But I think they could be a 3 seed. So this year has just been the ultimate uneven year. And I think there's a really good chance that it will finish the most uneven possible with the big lose streak and then a big win streak to close it out.
Yeah.
Kind of how I think it shakes out, to be honest.
I kind of like that scenario, though. The Nuggets find some momentum here in the last month of the season. Absolutely nobody is talking about them. You know, everybody, I think after this stretch, unless the Nuggets go 3-0 the rest of statement week, unless they get, a win over the Rockets, a win over the Spurs, a win over the Lakers, people are probably going to dismiss them gradually over the next couple of weeks. They're going to fade into the Rockets tier of contenders or whatever, the Timberwolves tier. They don't have a shot at getting up to that top tier anymore from, the national perspective, from the pod's perspective. But that's actually the spot we kind of thrive in. nobody will be talking about the Nuggets, and then they have a chance to stack a couple momentum turning wins and get hot to end the season while nobody's really taking them seriously.
If they get wins this week, though, I do think that Denver has a really exciting, because like I said, whether they win or lose this week, I do think that home stretch is very favorable. So if you win these ones, it's incredible. But if you lose these ones, I still think Denver's going to have this like moment of righting the ship. Let's close out the show. I got a couple things I want to see. You guys can add to this list over this next week, but really the rest of the year. Number one, to my surprise, I think Zeke Naji has to play these final 17 games. And I think last night showed you why. It's not that I think Zeke is great. It's not that I think he brings these talent. It's that he has size and he can guard and he allows you to have positional versatility defensively with some kind of bench unit. I don't know if we're going to do this, but one of the reasons Adelman didn't go to Zeke last night is because he doesn't ever go to Zeke. And I think it's weird in a big game to go to a guy you haven't been going to. But last night showed me you can't count on Big Val. Big Val got murdered against the Thunder 2 years ago in the playoffs. He got murdered earlier in this year. I think they look at him as like, well, they can't play that guy.
Right.
And if you can't play him in that series, you might as well start building the muscle tissue you need for even a guy like Zeke to play 5 consecutive minutes, not even a lot, 4 or 5 consecutive minutes. All he does is rebound and switch and defend. Yep. And then it allows guys like Peyton and Tim to be aggressive.
Was it Zeller for Jokic in the finals, where it was like, if he was on the court for even 2 minutes, good night, Irene.
You're right. They lost a game because of that. He was like a -10 in 3 minutes.
3 minutes, yeah. And
you're right.
Val,
that's exactly it.
in this matchup, that we're in that territory. We're in that and even for everything that went OKC's way down the stretch, because they made it go their way, that's a tip of the cap. Like that, if those bench minutes go a little bit better, you still probably win that game. So yeah, this matters.
Minus 28 or 29 in 14 minutes for Big Val over the last 2 games. I think Zeke has a chance of being a -10 in those minutes, or a -14. But I'm not saying they're good. I'm not saying he's a good, this or that. I do think that he allows them to play the type of defense they're going to need against some of these teams.
You know what the thing that I think is like most encouraging over this last little stretch is just how fast the Nuggets are coming out of the gate. They are putting it on teams in the first quarter, and they should be able to keep that, but it's like it literally gets eroded. I mean, it's just the same
as last year
story as has been for many years for the Denver Nuggets, but it just feels like they're coming out even faster and hotter. Like they get up 15 points on every opponent that they've played in the last like 4 or 5 times. And it's ridiculous that they can't, like by half, it's even every time. You're like, what in God's name? Like, how did we end up losing that quarter? How did that end up being a 2-point quarter? Like after Aaron Gordon's first quarter, we led by 2. Like that is disgusting.
Yeah. And they had to come back. They were actually down. They came back to be up by 2. I think that Spencer needs more minutes. And last night, you just talk about guys that can make hard rotations, and we'll do them at full speed. Bruce, Spencer, those are 2 guys you can count on. I think they need his minutes to go up in lineups like this. It's kind of hard to do, but the more I thought about that game and as I rewatched it, I was like, they needed Spencer out there. They needed his energy.
For some reason, Adelman's lost trust in Spencer Jones. His minutes the last 3 games have been way, way down. And it's just been kind of weird. I don't really get it.
Obviously, some guys are back, but I still agree that there's room to play him, and specifically
you have
the
a
moment
terrible
you just highlighted.
Defense.
Yeah,
your defense is awful.
And
why not play
bench
him?
Needed a power forward that probably, ideally, wasn't Aaron Gordon for multiple reasons in this spot. So.
Right.
I'm with you, Win.
Save him.
I'm with you.
I think the big one here, David Adelman needs to set a rotation. And I'm not saying Denver needs to have a set rotation every single night, but I do feel, as you mentioned last night, that it felt a little like he was flying by the seat of his pants. I think Denver needs to, as they get everyone back, to kind of know who the guys are. And right now, I think it's obvious that Julian is probably the one guy cut. But even if you just go through last night, Julian only played 3 minutes. Okay, it's not like
he didn't play at all.
He played a little bit. His minutes get cut. But if we just earmark minutes for Peyton Watson, Christian Brown played 38. I think Peyton Watson takes maybe 8 of those minutes. Mm-hmm. But who else's minutes does he take? Tim Hardaway played 33. He probably takes some of those.
Yep, some of those.
I don't know. Maybe Val, you just cut those minutes out.
I think you cut those minutes out entirely.
Val has a usefulness, especially in the regular season and against some teams.
It's based on the matchup, though.
But
we're talking about down the rest of the stretch. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it's just hard because Denver actually has this weird thing where there's a lot of guys. But if you're asking me, Tim Hardaway's going to play minutes, not as many as he's been playing, But I think Spencer Jones and Peyton Watson are the guys that are going to play minutes. And then Bruce Brown to me becomes the 9th man. And I love Bruce. He provides something. But he's the one to me that I wouldn't be surprised if 16 minutes was more or less actually what we expect from him.
Yeah.
Give us 16 really hard minutes.
Yeah, and then play as hard as you absolutely can in those 16.
Definitely.
And Bruce can do that. And one of the reasons maybe why Bruce is here and some people aren't is that Bruce will do that. As in, hey man, we're going to lower your minutes. We still need you to do this with us. You know?
Yeah, he's like, cool. That's
He's like, yeah, I will. He's not going to be happy about it because he's a competitor,
of
but
course.
he will do it.
But
he will do it for the team.
I agree with you. You know, like you really, the regular season should be used to find out who your team is, and then the end of the season into the playoffs is how you present the absolute best version of it. You've figured out like what lineups, and I don't feel like we even know that yet. Like we have not had the opportunity to figure out what that is. There
I
are
am
so many.
sympathetic to the staff for that as well.
For sure.
You know,
we don't, I mean, there's an on paper right answer, but there is also like, if Tim is just in the garbage, like if he doesn't show up at a playoff game like he's done before, it's like, then do you look to Julian? Do you look to, it's like, but I agree, you have to get down to that 8-man, 9-man tops rotation going into the playoffs that like good teams do. And it is not clear. It's not clear yet.
Those are the things I think we have to see, though. But I don't know how much we're going to see them in these next few games. I do think if Peyton Watson does return on Saturday, though, you are looking at they get 2 days off leading into the game against the Sixers. If the full rotation is healthy, I do think part of what the practice will be about is, all right, here's what we're gonna start building in our rotation. This is how we play, and this is our flexibility for it. So, we're in the purgatory. We got another week of this where I think it's going to be an absolute battle. Maybe the Nuggets will make us proud. But I do think the home stretch will be very interesting. I think it'll be an interesting home stretch because I think we will finally get to open our present.
I hope it's just like we're just back. You know what I mean? Like I'm not ruling it out that the darkest time has already happened.
I'm predicting it. I've been firm on it. You guys know this.
No, I know,
I've been
but
for
I think
a
that-
month saying that this is how this month was going to go.
I think that I'm hoping and praying that the darkest moment was the Knicks. That was as dark as I'd ever
It was
been.
very dark.
I
I mean,
honestly-
almost so dark we thought we were dead.
So I mean, like I can't imagine it getting darker than that
Yeah,
again.
I can't either.
If they play their guys against San Antonio, I think that might be the darkest moment. If they just rest their guys and get blown out, no one will really care. But if you
Look,
play
if
your
they
guys
go
and
against
still
San
get blown
Antonio
out,
and play their guys and get blown out, then it's dark. That's what
that's
it's
my
supposed
prediction.
to be dark.
I think that'll be the darkest
He
moment.
is saying eclipse incoming.
I don't think that will happen. I believe in their guys more than that.
What is it called when it's the full eclipse? The moment.
A total
I don't
eclipse?
know.
No, the
Of
moment.
the heart.
No. Remember,
Josh Hart.
it only comes around whenever there's an eclipse. We call this is the.
I don't know.
You don't know what is the number? It's the peak eclipse moment.
I think it's total eclipse.
No,
Eclipse
it's a total
Cons
eclipse. But I'm
2?
saying that somebody in the chat help me out. There's a moment where we've reached absolute singularity or something. I can't remember what it is though.
A solar eclipse?
No, but he's saying like when it finally
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you
we've
had a moment
reached-
where everyone
Totality, maybe that's what it is.
Totality,
Yeah,
yeah,
totality.
totality.
We've
We have
reached
reached
totality.
totality.
Yeah, I think
Totality.
totality is going to be Thursday, March 12th.
Yeah, you're
or
not supposed
Saturday,
to
March
look
14th.
at that game if it's
Don't look
totality.
directly-
Don't
you
look
think
at it.
you can look directly
Watch
at
it
it.
with special glasses.
Do not look
you
directly
can't.
at
You
it.
can't watch
You
it.
cannot look directly at it.
dude.
We got some super chats.
No, I hope you're so wrong.
Ghostly
only a
Gengar.
week.
V1. Adam said he wants to see P-Watt and SGA in the clutch. We've seen a great example of that. Last year, P-Watt clutched up SGA and got the game-winning block on him to hand OKC their first loss.
He also hit, I think, a game winner on him, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he
So
did.
like we've seen both. Okay, he's a good player. You just got to make it tough. It wasn't tough for him last game. That's the problem.
No, it was not.
CB35944. Cam has no backbone. Eric could stuff him in a locker, but instead of forcing him in, he would just put his head down and comply. Zero fight, zero dog. That's negative. Negative.
I actually might have a center of gravity advantage.
This is the thing, though, and this is where I wish Yoke was a little different because I actually tend to agree more or less with the sentiment of that one, and I would love if Yoke, I just want every player needs to be confronted with their weakness, and in his case, it might be actual weakness or softness, and I would just love it to be like, hey, man, you know what this season's all about? Are you tough enough for this?
Yeah.
I want him to be confronted with his challenge.
Are you tough enough for this?
Yeah, Chad, are you? Some
Are
of
you
you guys
tough
are
enough
not.
for this?
Am I?
When was a kid?
Because I feel like
No, I'm not. I'm not built for this.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
built for it. This is why I'm telling you. One more week.
Christoph
Totality.
celebrating 6 months of
Hell
membership.
yeah.
OKC was without Hart, J. Will, Chet, and Baldigo, but we were without MPJ, P-Watt, and Russ. Exit from Snowsuwick is on the way up.
That's the
LFG.
Polish
There it
version
is.
of Cole
Polish
Fox.
Cole
That's
Facts.
right. I gotta Google that one actually.
Yeah.
I'm
You
actually
don't wanna
typing that
Google
in
it, no.
right now while we do the next one. Gunny or Goonie 800 closing dog playoff lineup. Maul, Tim, Pewatt, AG, Yoke.
I think Tim, though,
Tim
to be honest
freaks me
with you,
out.
man, I don't know if you can do that. And it's not, he is a dog, but he cannot guard the elite players in this league, and they'll find him.
I know. It's like that's where it's like.
Who else would you put out there?
I put CB in place of Tim
Really?
alongside Pewatt.
Dude, I
don't
wish
think
Cole
it's enough
Facts looked
shooting.
like this. Okay, sorry. Josh Barnett from Down Under. I'm sorry, let me try that again. Josh Barnett from Down
What the
Under.
hell, dude? That was actually kind of racist what
I
you first
agree.
did.
I agree. Who's pro daylight savings? Interstate debate here.
Are you kidding me? It's my favorite day of
Are
the
we
year.
doing away with daylight savings?
No, never do away with it.
Well,
never
no,
do away
I
with
thought
it.
we are.
We voted to make it permanent.
Yeah, we're doing away with it.
Yeah, they haven't enacted it. I love it. Whenever that daylight savings comes around, it's just, I'm telling you everything. I'm in a better mood. You see how optimistic I was
You are in
today?
a great mood
Yeah,
today.
but,
Bro, I'm telling you.
but here's the point: is that in order to be in a better mood, you have to be in a bad mood.
Yeah, that's how the life works, man. You have to pay the bill.
But
I'll
you-
pay
you
the
can-
bill
well,
in December,
you can
January,
either-
February.
You want to binge and
Yep.
like, can't you just like have a low key?
No, I
like,
can't. I need to be punished before rewarded.
Like you have
That's
to have a day
what
where
the daylight
you have
savings
to have a
is.
day where you wake up and you're like, and then you have to completely reorient yourself.
Sun's
to the
down at like
world.
4:15, and you're just like, and then one day it's 7:30, and you're like, hell
Yeah.
yeah, there it is,
That part
baby.
is
What if it
tight.
just never?
So tight. Yeah. Everybody, thanks for tuning in for the show. We're back tomorrow, 2 games in a row. We'll see you then.
Let's go.
We all silly like the mayor.